me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and I resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss we eat the yellow rat you. Use the youth, them on them, Mr. Musta Mantis statue. Say me like a catch you, but bigger than a figure you. Take the skin from money, girl, and say that is not you. One day, the man above him, look him, I got a bet. Too much eating at the kitchen, some fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% raise.
It burn me.
Garbage pile up the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption face.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and I resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
For me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The urgent promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in our river. Member bowl only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the son man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
Or them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again.
Stibby dim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we love like. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on a cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Good morning, and welcome to the Global Television Group. I hope me no freeze and stop. Good morning and welcome. It is your At a Glance program. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We are going to speak to illiterate, defaced politician this morning. Juliet Holness, we are not going to stop. You must do the right thing. Don't bother think anyone is frightened by your silence, Juliet Holness. We will not stop until you, Juliet Holness, the Speaker of the House, meet our demand. It is not an ask, it is a demand. And we are not going to stop until Juliet Holness meet that demand. Where everybody across the nation is asking for. We are not going to stop. It will be a martyrdom between the Holnesses and the rest of us. Because we're not going to be controlled by a tyrannical regime. Oh no, you will have to gun us down in the street under Holness. Not because you see, we are so reluctant, doesn't mean we're going to throw our democracy under the bus. Oh, no. When our back is against the wall, Holness, we will charge. We will charge like a rhino at you all. Go and play deaf. Go and play deaf this morning. Good morning, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Good morning to my community of party and all my family members. Good morning to all my moderators and platform membership holders, subscribers, commenters, and viewers. Good morning and welcome. Jamaican TV, good morning and welcome. Natalia Freeman, David Jervis. Good morning and welcome. Elaine Turner. Violet Watson, good morning and welcome. Patricia Matthews. Veteran, up, big up yourself. Marcia Este, good morning. Real sweet, good morning. Sunshine, good morning. Good morning to everyone. Beat and teach, Wagwan. Abina Sarkodi, good morning and welcome. Nifty friends, good morning. Bros, Vernon Mitchell, good morning. Rosemary Samuels, good morning. Debbie Jervis, good morning. Jason Kane, good morning. Good morning. Monica Wills. You still about punctual, I might come on late. Next trip. Who else there? Monica Wills, real sweet. Simone Beckford, Beulah. Annie Jones. Yvonne Johnson. Simone Beckford. Who else is here? Maya Brown. Agency Driver 5. Well, go on, how you doing? Sharon Robinson, Untainted Congo, Kamar Johnson. Precious Allen. Lenford Wilson. Dion Johnson, good morning and welcome. Annie Jones, good morning. Annie Smith, good morning. Good morning. I missed. No, it's not Annie Smith, sorry. Annie Jones. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I've missed some of what was happening in the comment on last night's show. Sheila, good morning. Althea Wilson, Rosalie Ricketts. Good morning. Good morning. Mary Messenger TV. Good morning. I missed what was going on in the comment yesterday, Annie Jones. I wasn't aware that it was your birthday. So I want to say from Global Television and the entire Globalist team, a happy belated birthday to one of our globalists, Annie Jones. I hope you had a blast and you enjoy, and we wish you many, many more happy birthday. So from the entire Global Television group, we wish you, Annie Jones, a happy belated birthday. My Jamaican coffee time, please. Do all the thanks for the day. Yes, my people, more and more calls. This is when you know your government is very, very disrespectful to the people. Donnet, good morning. Raymond, good morning. The Speaker Clark issue. Plain truth, good morning. Shows us how much this government has no respect for the electorate. How this government has no respect for the voices in civil society. How this government has no respect for His Majesty's opposition. how this government has no respect for the integrity of the office. This particular issue, quite one that could have been dealt with in public simply and move on by doing the right thing. But the blatant refusal, the deafening attitude coming from the government is saying to us plain and clear that this government has no respect for the people. But I'm going to play a snippet for you of a situation in Nigeria with Chinese racism and how the Nigerian people and the Nigerian authorities would deal with such a problem. Let's have a listen and then we come back on the other side.
However, China has openly engaged in arm twisting and discrimination against locals. Not a day goes by when China and its behavior don't make the news. This time, Chinese actions have sparked outrage almost 10,000 kilometers away. However, China has openly engaged in arm twisting and discrimination against locals. And the most recent example is of the Chinese supermarket. As calls for boycott grow in Nigeria, it looks like Chinese racism has become a setback for Beijing's relations with Africa.
This visit was prompted by a viral video circulating on social media where Nigerians claimed they were denied entry to the store based on their nationality, sparking widespread outrage. Upon arrival at the location, the security personnel hesitated to open the gate, insisting on receiving authorization from higher authorities. After approximately 10 minutes, access to the compound was granted.
And finally, in Africa, a Chinese supermarket has been accused of racism against locals in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Nigerians were outraged after they were denied entry inside the store for not being of Chinese descent. The West African nation's consumer watchdog has now shut down the Chinese market and summoned its owner. Our next report.
Did you hear the word Jamaica? Nigerians were outraged. Outrage, something that is lacking in Jamaica. Outrage.
Nigerians claimed they were denied entry to the store based on their nationality, sparking widespread outrage. Upon arrival at the location, the security personnel hesitated to open the gate, insisting on receiving authorization from higher authorities. After approximately 10 minutes, access to the compound was granted.
And finally, in Africa, a Chinese supermarket has been accused of racism against locals in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Nigerians were outraged after they were denied entry inside the store for not being of Chinese descent. The West African nation's consumer watchdog has now shut down the Chinese market and summoned its owner. Our next report goes into detail.
Residents in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, are enraged with the way they've been treated. A Chinese supermarket in Nigeria is at the center of controversy. The shop is located in a building run by the Chinese Chamber of Commerce in the Nigerian capital. The Chinese supermarket has been accused of racism by denying entry to African shoppers. After videos of the supermarket's blatant racism against local Nigerians went viral, the West African nation's consumer protection watchdog closed down the Chinese store. Officials of Nigeria's
Are you sick of having issues with your webinars?
Down the Chinese store. Officials of Nigeria's Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission locked down the Chinese supermarket until further notice. They also summoned the store's owner for investigation. So how did this instance of Chinese racism against Nigerians in their own country surface? It all started earlier this week. A group of Nigerians went to the Chinese Chamber of Commerce to shop from its supermarket. They were all stopped at the entrance by guards who said that people of only Chinese descent were allowed inside. And then the outcry began. Nigerian authorities have refused to reopen the Chinese supermarket. However, the racist attitude by Chinese towards Nigerians and Africans is nothing new. Reports highlight that Chinese social media is full of anti-African content. And despite calls for controlling racism on Chinese social media, Beijing has done almost nothing about it. Chinese racism came into spotlight even before the COVID-19 pandemic. Africans who were living in China became victims of Chinese racism repeatedly. Over the years, reports of Africans being treated unfairly by the Chinese have become far too frequent. It reached a point where governments had to intervene to douse the flames. And instead of facing the crisis, Beijing called the racism incidents a way to create animosity between China and Africa.
I want to say that if there are people who want to seize on an incident to exaggerate matters and sow discord in China's relations with African countries, that this is a doomed, futile effort. China and Africa have weathered many storms, and the cooperation has been successful and win-win. How relations are between China and Africa, and whether or not cooperation is good, African countries and the people of Africa know in their hearts exactly how things stand.
China's presence in Africa, particularly in Nigeria, remains massive. There are at least 10,000 Chinese living in Nigeria. And Beijing is credited for opening major ports and infrastructure projects in Abuja.
Somewhere in 2018, an IT expert who was working for the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa noticed that there were some suspicious activities with the servers of the African Union. Yes. First of all, he noticed that some information were heavily being transferred from Addis Ababa all the way to Shanghai, China. You know, these were information about migrants, information about each African country. As you know, the African Union is a collective of all the African countries that signed up for this initiative. Now, the people who constructed this particular building are the ones who installed the servers. Now, China was giving an eye to the activities of Africa without permission. China was spying on Africa without permission. And they didn't even tell Africans that they were spying on them. Of course, you can't tell someone, I'm spying on you. What raised suspicion is, why were they transferring such huge amount of data from Africa to Shanghai? Let's keep that at stake right now. Let's put it somewhere. Let's go all the way to Nigeria. Something is happening in Nigeria, something very suspicious, you know. The Chinese are always very suspicious with their activities. Remember the case with Huawei in, USA? Huawei was doing some malicious activities
You're talking about
without
Huawei.
the permission of the users. It had some program on its devices that was recording people and their conversation and sending it back to Huawei headquarters in China. Now in Nigeria, as I said, Nigeria has welcomed the Chinese. The Chinese have built many things. They've built structures, they've built this and that. But something is happening, something that Africans don't like. Chinese are being racist to Africans. And the type of racism is this. It's a kind of apartheid. Remember apartheid? No vehicle, no houses, no areas were allowed to Africans. Now, the Chinese have built this mall, as you've heard, and in this mall, Africans can't get into this mall. The only people who can get into that mall are Chinese people. I'm not certain if other foreigners can get in, but what I know is Africans can't get in. It's like you have your own room in your house, and you have a guest, and they don't allow you into that room. It raises suspicion. Given the history of China and how it does its own malicious things, it has raised suspicion about what it is doing in this mall that it does not want Africans to see. You know, the information that was being transferred from Addis Ababa to Shanghai was very important information. You know, the information that Huawei was recording on people's phones. I can't be talking, but my phone is recording me and sending this information to China, you know. Now, the government of Nigeria is not happy about this, and they've made an example of this. They came and they decided, we want to close this mall. We close this mall, and then you are going to be answerable to some of these things that you do. The owner of this mall was called out, but she didn't appear. She was called out, she didn't appear, she ran away, which even makes it more suspicious. Why are you running away? And you've been not allowing Africans to come in. Now, we can't talk all that. I want us to watch this video, continue watching this video.
A local entrepreneur who makes
Chinese racism, a new type of racism we are dealing with as people who have been under oppression for 500 years. To Sophia Michelle Clark. Morning, and welcome. Douglas Allen. Good morning. Mitchie, good morning. Raymond, good morning. Sharon Powell, good morning. Michelle Lewis Wilson, Marlene Gordon, good morning. Good morning. Lorna Emery, Coates Nareen, good morning and welcome. If our government cannot deal with the issue of Chinese racism in our country, Beverly Forbes, then it's the duty of the people to put a stop to it. But one thing you heard in this recording, the Nigerian people were outraged. And not only that the Nigerian people were outraged, the Nigerian authorities did something about it. They've closed the business. But it goes further than that. Is when our government sit around the table with these people who they think are more powerful than them because they've got a better economy and more weapon, even though they still have to depend on natural resources to keep their economy and their military industrial complex afloat. When our leaders sit around the table with them, they go around there and they argue like lackeys and bend over, and therefore the people, the post-colonial, look at TV, the people who are of the post-colonial descendant really don't get a good deal, Hugh Lewis. Because when our leaders, Christine Gilbert, goes around the negotiating table with these leaders, the country and the people are not in their best interests, Georgette Brown. It's more about their way of illicit enrich themselves out of whatever contract they've taken our country into. Now, when you're going into deal with country like China, they're getting a lot of economic benefits from the deal. But how much though are we getting? The partnership is not really an equal one. The Chinese will come in and get the contract, and they bring in a lot of workers to do the labor work. So Jamaicans on the ground really don't benefit much from that. There isn't training on the ground at the high engineering level, Lorraine Barrett, for Jamaicans on this contract we have with Shrek and others. Millicent Jones, Markland Fagan. So a country like China, you have deal with them. You wouldn't think so. Well, then our country wouldn't want to have a partnership where our students can go to China to study some of the sciences, engineering, and technology skills that we don't have. No, it's not about that. As a person who's worked in the education sector and at one point and deal with a lot of international students, you know, I've really, in the UK here, I'm not saying it, it's not here, but like I would come across students from many other countries who get scholarship from their country or from their government, Pamela Okola. I've never come across a Jamaican student that is on scholarship doing one of those science or engineering subjects. I've met children from African countries, China, India, all country. I've met children from Cayman, Bermuda. Not much from Jamaica and the broader Caribbean. I've never really come across. So it's at all levels. We lack investment in our education system and our partnership with this country who is well versed into these STEM subjects. When we are getting into these contracts, we really don't look for development and continuous training and upgrading for the Jamaican people. So therefore, we're always going to be at the bottom of the economic ladder. Every other culture, Norman Ferguson, comes around us, move up the economic ladder, leave us, and it is because, one, we do not have unity amongst us as a people. Two, our governments are not governing within our interests. It's just purely, Gloria Morris, about them and their cronies. Look, Tam Tavares' son a fight to get in a parliament now. And probably if he don't get in a parliament, Andrew may put him in at the Senate side and Puppa. It's just how it goes. But the issue is Jamaica people don't know how to outrage. There is no outrage in Jamaica when all of these things happen. Everybody just relax and take it easy and go on like, say, well then, this is the norm in life. We just have to accept it. Paula Shelley, Marcia Thomas, Gloria Morris, how are you? But let's listen to Soft Soap Mota Baroka, Christopher. Because sometimes you don't know where Mota Baroka is going. But let's listen to Mota Baroka on the issue of crime.
I'm in Jamaica right now, both here and abroad. However, people now come back to Jamaica because them said too much murder going on in the country. The crime out there is real. So whether the Prime Minister want to soften it and make it come like it's a problem, but not a big problem. You might live in a bubble and when you hear the government that say murder gone down. I have to laugh when I hear that. Who believe that? Your data can't tell nobody that. Your data can't tell nobody that. The reality is that people scared of the murders we are going on in Jamaica. In the top 5 most murderous countries in the world. And we don't have no civil war on here, so we're in the top 5 most murderous country in the world without a civil war. Can you imagine if we are talking about it take a revolution to bring a solution? What would happen? Give thanks.
Well, Mutabaruka convinced that the government statistic vendetta King Lord. Mutabaruka is convinced that the government statistic is another wool being pulled over our eyes to give the government good name, because the government realize that they have seriously lost it on the issue of crime and will not be able to pull things back in line throughout their tenure, given that they have 8 years and have done nothing. Moving up to a general election, ever since we move into this year, the government wants us to believe that crime is down, murder is down. But it is not the people's reality. It is not what we see when we're reading the papers and see all these shootings and killings across the country. It's really not the people's experience, Herbert Tuzelin. The fear of crime also, the perception of being attacked is worse than even experiencing the crime. Ladybug, how are you? The perception of one being attacked, the perception of one being robbed, the perception of one have to face a gun or a knife. It is a reality as to why a lot of people who would want to go back home to Jamaica have reconsidered their plan because Denroy Daly, of the fear of crime. The fear of crime and the perception of being attacked is even more alarming across for a lot of people across the country, and indeed also Colleen Richards, Pamela McNeil, across the entire diaspora. It is why the diaspora is taking things into their own hand and is having that protest in Miami. Debbie, put up the address for me. I don't have the flyer to hand. Write up the details for me, please. Shelton Williams. In New York, the 10th of this month. Today is the 1st of May. In the next 9 days. Cousin Myrna, Wagwan. In the next 9 days, the Dirty 30 whittle down to Dirty 5 take over the diaspora will be having another demonstration. You must remember the Florida demonstration that happened a few moons ago. And in the next 9 days, it will be the New York protest. Because our people at home has decided to reside in fear, then the diaspora has taken it onto themselves to stand up against the tyranny that we are witnessing from this government at home. Mr. Nigel said, to me, I understand the financial something. Charmin Carter, how are you? Me I left it to one of the bright people them like Carlos. But me say, Nigel, them a talk about government report revenue shortfall for fiscal year which end in March. Me I leave that to the bright people. Them want to know say me I done so when they come to the finance area. Bless man. Sunday is remind us so we can wish you happy birthday on Sunday, Ladybug. So, me I left it to the bright people them. But I see someone wrote to the Gleaner editorial with regards to the biometric system at the Sangster International Airport. And they are giving the system at Sangster Airport a horrible thumbs down. The system, they say, is really shabby. It creates a bottleneck. It creates a whole bunch of queues. The staff there are not helpful as the staff you would come across in Kingston. Head teacher K. Wagwan. They were of the view that the system, the biometric system in Kingston, works much better, and the staff at Norman Manley International is on hand to help where there are issues. But the review this traveler gave on the biometric system at Sangster International Airport, it would have created a woeful chock-a-block bottleneck of queues with complacent, reluctant staff being there, not willing to help travelers after some of us, especially if we're traveling from Wowo Yanda Yaso, where we're up in the air for a whole working shift doing nothing. Tony Tall. And then to come back to an airport system in chaos with staff walking around chewing gum and drying them foot and I look away like them not see you, JP. Because that's Jamaica chief customer service. Walk around, chew your chewing gum, dry your foot, act like you not see we, answer your phone, then when you do get around to it, you speak to it like dog just shit way out on the floor there, so. So only hope when I listen to the people and get this conundrum right, this push to go digital into a country where you can barely get phone and internet reception is going to create a whole bunch of chaos in our country. We're not ready for them system yet. You can barely walk across the whole Jamaica. You can barely get good reception. You can barely get good reception moving across the country. The country is not equipped for digitalization. We are not equipped for digitalization. Me don't know whether man you push and a run and a go, but we are just not equipped for this thing. Just look. All right. Hey, Bangaran. Them can barely vote right, much less. No, sir. Huh? We're not ready for this thing, people. Colin Humphreys. But remember, Andrew did tell us that we prepare for a fast move to a digitalized society. You know, some part there, Jamaica, where you can't walk up on your foot. You have to creep on your hand on your knee, or you have to swing on tree like monkey. You know them part of Jamaica there? We're not ready for digitalization. A vast percentage of our nation is of the elderly generation, which technology beat them bad. Claudette Robinson. Technology beat them bad. Even some of the young generation them a struggle with technology. We have a population where we Marcia Gale, with literacy rate, the on floor, just a roll like piece of paper in a breeze, a go on so. We need a whole lot of education, a whole lot of telecommunication infrastructure drive being done island-wide. Not even Britain not ready for this galanging yet because I'm not everywhere in Britain good internet there. But Jamaica is so push up. Jamaica under Holness regime is so wannabe. So wannabe first world thief, first world criminals, first world murderers. Your prime minister just want to be a first world wannabe. Even on an economy, will not tell lie pan. Any little economic growth on get is half of the back of People's National Party policy. And I want to do since you come in the last 8 years. You can't put on a finger upon nothing and show it. Sonia Smile. You can't put on a finger upon nothing substantial and show it what not done. The road wanna walk and boast and across the country. A PNP project them. Most of them. Look on the things them where you promise. Tell me how much of them you implement. Dennis Hall. Tell us how much of them you implement. This ride hype and good economy and highway is a ride on the back of the People's National Party. Things that the People's National Party put in place before them left Kenny Gale. A hit on a ride high pan. Let's talk about what we promised in 2015. And make we see how much a hit on put in place if we can put in the 100-day work. If we still a struggle like Duppy if it count to 100. Because then say Duppy can count past 3. So maybe uno stuck a 3 like the Duppy and can't go further. A cable, and how are you? Don't worry, them and the Israelis soon go at war, you see. Because you see like how they recognize Palestine, you know. What I want them to do is also criticize Israel for war crime and genocide, and also call for Israel to be referred to the International Criminal Court. Then you will see how Israel start lash out against the whole of them. McKnight, Hagan, Hannigan. But this is why the people of Jamaica have to take up them affairs in them hand. Me telling you all the while, say, Africa, the people of Africa is ready to stand up. Are we in the West here with the kosher galangin? The people of Africa will come out when them sit open liberties are take. Them not just roll over like we saw and say, boy, I saw you go, what we fit do? No, we can do an awful lot. People power can do an awful lot. But if we don't continue to sit down and say, what we fit do? Nothing now got change. Go out there and let the government see your presence. Go out there and let the government see that you're not having it. Nobody not tell you to go out there and be violent and bun tie and black road. No. It can be done peacefully, peaceful assembly. Your constitution protects that. the right to protest and the right to peaceful assembly. Your constitution protects that. But Jamaica, me a warn you know. You see this republic, wanna want drive this reckless vehicle too. Hey. You know what happen along the way upon reckless drive with reckless drivers. Don't. Me say, you know what generally happen when you go on a ride with reckless drivers. Allow me I tell. Tell me if I lie me I tell. If when you go on road with reckless driver, something not likely to happen. Be careful of this reckless driver you all are heading to or want to head to a republic. Sad a bit away for you. Be careful of what you wish for. One of the open on the eye, the in front of you. How you throwing up to other people make them eye open up? From 2015, 9 years now, the Constitutional Court has been ruling against Andrew Holness, unconstitutional, unlawful behavior. And I think, and I wonder, from 2015 when he was leader of the opposition, the unconstitutional act even against his own party members in the Senate. The Constitutional Court ruled against his unlawful practices. And in between that, we've seen them ruled against his practices many times, but the last one we saw was almost 2 weeks ago, is a holder, where the court ruled against Andrew unlawful actions, again to do with your constitution. And Jamaicans still behave like them don't see the danger. The danger of a rogue government having unwielded legislative power in Parliament is what you call a slippery slope democracy. It's a matter of a slip and you're off the cliff edge of democracy and down the valley of the cliff of authoritarianism. But nobody now see it. It's like everybody comfortable and relaxed to all the constitutional violation, Fabian, on this JP, that signal the danger to our democracy, that signal the danger to the Holness regime and our entire governance structure. Look at the constitutional norms of Parliament that are being ripped up by the Holness regime. Can't you people in Jamaica see the danger, the looming danger to your democracy? The government controls the Attorney General, controls the Ministry of Justice, created another office to follow with your constitution and owns the electoral office, owns the accountability office of the political ombudsman. And nobody don't see the danger. Nobody at all don't see the danger. Me not have clear, what you call clear seeing in clairvoyance. It's clear sentience, I think, or clear seeing. or me not have clear audience when me I hear something from somewhere else. Me I look at Andrew behavior over the last 9 years. Mavis Ashmael Barnett. I'm looking at Andrew's behavior over the last 9 years. Loads, countless constitutional violation. We not just make them up, so the court has ruled that they are constitutional violation. Whether it be what him deploy as crime fighting strategy, with him SOE and him Zozo, there is an awful lot at stake in your country. Douglas Allen, the problem with our country, the army also is a lackey for the government. African army are quite much different from these Western Upper American backside armies that we have. African armies will tackle corrupt government. They have done it time and time and time again. And it's the way Africa is going to get itself out of the quagmire, by the military removing, even though sometimes these military leaders become corrupt and dictatorial themselves, because even though Paul Kagame has done so much for Rwanda in the last 20 years since the Rwandan genocide, but Paul Kagame is becoming more now like a dictator, and given that they've gone into what I call the reinstatement of slavery with this Rwanda bill between them and the British, where the British has passed a bill, an act in Parliament to ship people off to Rwanda who come across the French Channel for asylum. Then they would tally them off to Rwanda, and their asylum claim would process there. If their asylum is accepted, they stay in Rwanda. If they don't want to stay, they do whatever they... It's quite a new way of slavery, and never have I thought that an African country would have joined force with Britain with a new introduction of transatlantic slavery. Tell Paul Kagame that I say it's nothing other than Yvonne Green. Noel Williams, well gone, bro. Long time. Tell Paul Kagame it is a reintroduction of the transatlantic slavery. But let's quickly whittle through this article regards to Paul Well. Philip Paulwell tell Holness her refusal to withdraw letter and apologize to Curtis will dog her speakership. And I do believe that. And not only believe that, it is our duty also to make sure that this never removes from over the shadow of Juliet's tenure until or unless she does the right thing. The calls are continuing. Let me see the viewing structure. Okay. The calls are continuing for the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Juliet Holness, to withdraw her public letter of reprimand and apologize to the recent retired clerk to the House of Parliament, Valerie Curtis. Opposition spokesman on energy and climate change, Philip Paulwell, on Tuesday, repeat his call for Holness to make an about turn in interest of proper running of Parliament. That is so correct, because ever since this debacle, Parliament is just up in the air and you never know or don't know what on earth is going on or what to expect or what new rule Juliet may come with at any point. His last call followed that by the powerful Jamaican Federation Trade Union, JCTU, in a letter to the Gleaner newspaper on Monday. Paulwell was speaking as he made his contribution to the 2024-2025 sectoral debate, which got underway on Tuesday in the House of Representatives. Holness was not present during the sitting, but Paulwell addressed her nevertheless. You have asked that the standing order be reviewed to provide you with guidance as to the tabling of reports from the Auditor General and the Integrity Commission. With respect, Madam Speaker, the rules that currently exist and are quite fine and must not be adjusted in any way, said Paulwell. He added that we do need new rules to restore the chairmanship of several oversight committees to the opposition. And, Madam Speaker, we must better define the relationship between yourself and the administrative staff at Parliament. Needless to say, I will again call upon you to withdraw that egregious letter that you sent to the former clerk, along with an appropriate apology. Paulwell told Holness that this matter will dog you for the rest of your term as Speaker if you do not do the right thing to restore equilibrium and working relation within this honorable House. While an opinion she sought from the Attorney General Chamber state that there was nothing unlawful in the way reports from the Auditor General and Integrity Commission were previously tabled in Parliament, the Speaker sat on the opinion for several months. A week before she was due to proceed on retirement on the 6th of April, the Speaker upbraided Curtis in a letter that was copied to the 62 member of Parliament in a move civil society and public commentators have described as unprecedented. Curtis has insisted that she followed the Speaker's instruction. Holness paid glowing tribute to Curtis during last Thursday's sitting of the House, but did not apologize or withdraw the letter. That is the end of that article. I support every word in that article. And personally, as I said when I came on, Juliet Holness, over here, you will not be, me freeze? No. You will not be let off the hook. We are going to continue on this subject, Delroy Henry, on a day-by-day basis until our demands are met. This is not an ask. It is a demand that the voice of the people ought to be respected. I will put you there, and I will pay you, and I will see one. I will draw you down, no matter how long it takes. Why you don't go to LA Lewis, go walk Obia? Because it's a Babsy go down a Secret Heart down a Westmoreland. I think it was the Westmoreland Church. She did that. And she got jump round table. She jump round grotto. She jump round cream soda. Alia Light, how are you? She jump round grotto. She jump round cream soda. She jump round the green and white order. and she light green and white candle. But since Babsy go walk that obia there, the whole of over there mash up. I be a bleggy down and pop down and broke down and twip and point I go on over there. So tell me something where I go on good over there. So since Babsy go light the obia candle. But on a love obia can on labor right. So make me advice on where good obia there. Veteran, come we say. Hey, Bangaram. Well, veteran, the veteran you there? If you don't fall asleep. Veteran, where are you? Make we send them that good obia, man. Make we send them that good obia, man. Look where they, when the cartel ruling come down, L.A. Lewis car parlor got cemetery with skull. And L.A. Lewis knock parlor upon skull and upon grave dot a few times. On not say. Yeah, answer the veteran over Global TV studio. You don't step on LA car parlor, got cemetery, got knock parlor upon grave dot. Parlor have to step aside. All parlor that they are hang on pan tree like silverback gorilla. LA ship up parlor. So go over LA, go walk obia. Down a Westmoreland now say nothing again. Down a Westmoreland a long time, old time days obia them there. When you don't say LA Lewis have good obia. When you not even Africa Center Mass anymore. LA Lewis can't count in any grave got beaten against any grave dot. And radam, it goes up. So the money want to go down a secret heart of Westmoreland go waste. Go take back the money there and go pay LA Lewis because see how quick it move parlor after them car parlor got cemetery. So maybe we don't need LA Lewis for car Juliet got cemetery is only so we are going to get rid of Juliet. So anybody have veteran? See if you send a message to LA Lewis, please. And tell him say need for car Juliet got cemetery because it work with parlor. It work with well, Ladybug you stay there. Me say it work with parlor. So make we see if Eddie can carry Juliet go over cemetery, go knock him against one gravestone or one skull and see what may happen. But if I not so, we're going to have to collect donation and buy salt. For salt, because these modern day high profile women do have integrity. Sophia Grant. Look how Paula willing to bring the entire office down with her. Juliet is willing to bring the entire parliament down with her. Them stop me down normal people. People will have integrity and respect would have stepped aside for the integrity, their professional integrity, and the integrity of the office they hold dearly, Lorna Emery. But not from these two. Miss Curtis, please answer this question. Were you asked to tender your resignation? Or did you plan originally to retire on the 6th of April? Or in the government circle, were you dismissed from your role as the letter suggests, gross disciplinary or gross dereliction of duty is an automatic dismissal? Kishare Fullerton, how are you? Yes, Delroy. LA Lewis have quick action medicine, so we need LA for care Juliet. Go over cemetery, go knock her against something because See, as soon as in car Paula gonna knock Paula against gravestone and grave dot and skull, Paula have to step aside. Even though Paula that they are hang on, she still, all LA have to do is to carry him. Carry Paula will give him one more strike against the gravestone again. No, sir. Why may I tell you, Philly, Jamaica is the best and the worst place all in one. Because if you love Jamaica, you have to hate Jamaica. And if you hate Jamaica, you have to love Jamaica. It is just like that. Debbie, me no remember if you did put up the protest detail. I beg you, put it back there for me again. Make me pin it so people remember that the 10th, Kirk Edwards, how are you? The 10th of this month, April, I can make the arrangement with LA. Please do, veteran. We need for Juliet Gas Cemetery. But knock her past something because it worked for Paula. It might work as well. So the New York protest, just across from the hand-stretching distance from the New York, the Jamaican consulate in New York. The protest will be on the 10th of this month from 9 in the morning, and this is Eastern time I'm talking about, New York time. 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. Yes, it's May. We are in May now. It's the 1st of May. Today is the 1st of May. So it's 9 days from now. Jacqueline Murray, how are you? So it will be 42nd Street. Debbie soon put up the thing and I'll pin it. So if you are in New York or the surroundings, then please go at least for an hour and show your support to Jamaicans at home, because even though we need to beat them out of the fear, a lot of things we are going with people them is fear. But then again, make me look on the other part and say, drunk rock, or one of you come out, come Buntai and Black Road for bad man, termite, chichi, and ticks. Uno do in a fear. Or is it because uno been ordered by dons and gangs in your community to say, go out there and protest for the boss? Which is it? Schools. Survey in Bermuda find marijuana use is common among school children. I wonder if we need to commission, given the upsurge, and I'm not saying marijuana here, just any other substance or influence. I wonder if our country should commission some similar research amongst our school children if there are substance abuse. Because when Picking turn up in front of Picking with cabin knife and kitchen bitch, I said, stop me now. Stop me now. Then you would automatically assume these children are under the influence of something, whether be substance or dopey. But me no know. It just don't look normal. So maybe our country need to commission a research as well to look into Wagwan. This I was meant to tackle from the other day when the cow foot, big cow hand, cow foot, triple X, because the size of your foot and hand there is cow foot and cow hand big so. But what we need to do is to put big mouth, big hand, big cow foot, footer hype, and triple X in a ring to box it out because it's too big, dirty, labamouth gal. Too big, dirty, labamouth gal will love to beat up pan woman. So maybe we need to put footer hype and triple X in a ring and make we see if they have strength to fight man or if them can only swing them big cow foot at women. But what I would want to see, because there was a review to the domestic where is that footer and triple X footer and Juliet are the same size. There was a domestic review. There was a review in Parliament the other day to the domestic violence law and all of that. But my recommendation to the government would be, because it was like this in Britain, and Britain has changed it. It used to be just like it is in Jamaica now, where the abused partner, mainly the women, can go to court and withdraw the prosecution, can say they no longer wish to prosecute. That's the standard of the domestic violence law. It was like that in Britain as well. But because of the danger to women, and sometimes these domestic violence spilled over into stalking and killings, so the British state changed the law and take that out of the woman's hand. The woman can no longer say, I wish not to prosecute. As long as there is evidence of domestic violence, then it's purely the police and the prosecutor's decision whether they are going to prosecute or not. The woman can no longer say, I am not willing to prosecute. Wayne Evans, how are you? Did you see Paula foot them look like jumper? Murder. So this is one of the things I would wish for the government to change in the Domestic Violence Act in Jamaica, where a woman, after being abused, a man come kiss her upon her neck, buy her rose, buy her present, kneel down and cry in front of her because man good pan theatrics and lie. You just have to watch Andrew Holness. And then the woman say, oh, him sorry, him all cry. Him did really sorry. And then you turn up a court tomorrow morning and say you're not bother with prosecution. 2 weeks from that, the big old dirty cow hand and cow foot depend you again. So the law must be changed. There goes the information for the protest. You can screenshot that information on screen so you have it as reference for the location. So the law needs to change where the woman can be sweetened up by the man and then come a court, come tell judge and prosecutor say them wish to withdraw. They wish not to prosecute. Flat Green got away with being an MP, for example, with local people think they should do the same. Babsy isn't party. So we need to change domestic violence law in a way that it protects women, because they can be coerced, they can be threatened, they can be sweetened up to let men off the hook who are serial abusers. Some of them man are serial abusers, and the law must be changed. The court should charge them both. You say there, if there's no law against that, the court can really do much against it. It's the government that needs to change the domestic law so the woman, prevent the woman. Jamaican women majority love abuse as they sing the song a bad man them love. Well, some of them, because me hear Jamaica woman talk it out of their mouth, say if them man don't beat them, them don't love them. Me hear that devastation out of woman mouth, believe you me. That two heads, God don't. But domestic violence law needs to be changed in order to protect women. And not every woman want the beaten, and not every woman love the beaten. And for God's sake, me don't know why woman think to say when man cry, they mean it. Man cry because them know say it will get them off the hook. Them not cry because them sorry. Brenda, how are you? Them cry because them know it will get them off the hook. So if the woman them can't stand up for themselves, the law needs to stand up for them by making sure once a case of domestic violence comes to the court, it's all out of the woman's hand. It was like that in Britain where women couldn't say them now go forward with prosecution, and Parliament rewrite the law and take that out of the woman's hand. Iselin Blackwood. Women need more protection, Evan Bradford. Women need more protection from these men who are stalkers and serial abusers. Sometimes the women are in fear because they're threatening them. No, so the man is a bad man, or he have gun, or he have gunman friend, and them something there. So the law needs to be changed to protect women, because in the whole domestic violence, you have a lot of coercion we're going, you have a lot of financial abuse, you have emotional, all sorts of different type of abuse come together. Sometimes you see woman got caught, go beg for man. It's not that them sorry for them, it's that they're coerced to do it. They're made to feel guilty for doing it. With psychology, we need to change. With psychology, a whole way back. We need to modernize. I mean, I talk about government. We, the people, need to modernize ourselves. We, the people, need to build back our community and family structure. If you don't have a community or a family structure, you won't have a structured country. It starts from down there, so, and build go up. If the family is disorganized, if the community is disorganized, the country, by extension, will be disorganized. So when we beat upon the people all the while, we have a lot to do with what is happening. We are disorganized and scattered all over the place. We don't have no oneness, no unity amongst us. And those who benefit from that feeds into that because it benefits them politically, economically, financially, or other ways. Nobody is going to come and take us out of these situations. Yes, people may create some of them around us, but it is our duty to dismantle all of them. Short of that, we will be in this continuous tug of war to no ends, thinking government has a duty to do anything to us. Thinking government have a duty to do anything to us. So, them can go on. But people, One must be outraged. I want to speak about this. The People's National Party is asking for clarification, and not just them who want it. The entire country, Stanford Barnes. How are you? The entire country is rather confused by the appointment of the new Director of Public Prosecution. The only thing I understand from her appointment is that she was appointed for 6 months. That much I'm aware of, not aware of much other. So the People's National Party, and I would believe swathes of people across the country would need this information also. Clarification on the appointment of the acting Director of Public Prosecution. Did I not put a thingy next to a thingy? Yes, this young man, this taxi driver, Rashane Wilkins, said to be left home by Loss District in Linstead, St. Catherine, to pick up a friend at Norman Manley International Airport has not been seen since. The truth is, though, Jamaica, the intelligence that is coming through on this young man, it doesn't sound, Omar, it doesn't sound well. One of the team, one of the team that is common, one of the team that is common with this young man that I'm hearing in private circles, many of, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. Holy people are said, I'm friend them, pitch him with. But the overall, you know, when things happen in Jamaica, you hear many different things, but the overall tone, live by the gun, you die by the gun. People as the police, them know what happened. Down at the lane, when it come from, a whole heap, a shenanigan, go on down the lane there, and police know. Me hear say the taxi association and a lot of the taxi driver them in a Linstead, them is like a law unto themselves, and it's a gangland situation down there. Me hear say all heap of them taxi man a Linstead, a gunman, including Mr. Rashane Wilkins. Me no know, me hear, and me say what me hear. But it is a common tone. Live by the gun. You die by the gun. But them say everybody knows say I'm friend them, kick where foot. If anything goes on, it will surface little by little, because we know nothing no stand under rock stone in a Jamaica. Breeze will blow it from under the rock stone. So we will keep an open ears, even though we would hope for his safe return. But based on what people are saying on the ground, it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good at all. You know? But I want to thank you all for being here with me this morning on Global Television. We appreciate all of your support. And don't forget to go over to YouTube and IG and subscribe to Amber Joy. It's Amber Joy's News and Reviews. Amber Joy's News and Reviews. Paula Facey, how are you? Subscribe to her channel and give her some strength. Is a new social justice warrior, which is taking on the people's business, taking on corrupt government officials and corrupt government ministers. So give her some support. It's a new soldier on the battlefield, like all the other soldiers that are there taking on the people's business, taking the conversation and the argument to the government on a daily basis. So make sure, because if Amber never start vice out, we would know of the lies and the commotion galangin where Matthew Samuda Guanpan with regards to the people's water in Westmoreland. And if you check a holy more of it across the country, them abuse with water rights in order to supply their bourgeoisie friends or their private sector friends. So we must all stand up, and we must also boycott IRFM as well. Do not listen to IRFM until they can compensate Amber and apologize to the nation. Then you should all boycott IRFM. Don't give them any airtime over there. Because if you find that a public broadcaster is working, if you find that a public broadcaster is working with the government in order to stifle and censor your free speech, your rights, and your democracy, then we must stand up and call them out for what they are. IRFM is a sellout. IRFM has bent over for the government. IRFM is attacking free speech. IRFM is attacking democracy. IRFM is not worth listening to any longer. Not on the airwave. IRFM is no longer here for the people. They are here for their government and commercial purpose, and that is how IRFM must be seen. Thank you very much for being here with us on Global Television this morning. Join us back tonight for the people's point of view, when we will explore the further happenings of our country, which probably just tie Juliet Holness and her husband to our hearts and drag them anywhere down the road with us. So thank you all very much, and good morning, good afternoon.